Thank you very much. Great pleasure to be here. I can't tell you how much I enjoy being here. I've had a great time attending sessions today, and what a really wonderful and great experience this has been for everybody. Thank you, Jeff, for the invitation. I appreciate it very, very much. Today we have got, now normally this session I would do in about an hour and a half, so I normally have been accused of talking pretty fast, so I'm going to maybe talk this much faster, maybe about 2 or 4 beats a minute quicker than I normally would talk, okay, and in order to be able to get through that particular material, because we don't want to tick off the next clinician, okay, and you know, he's a pretty ornery guy from what I understand. Today's topic is called Building Bands Beyond Borders. That's a whole lot of B's, okay? Building bands beyond borders, okay? With that said, let's go and let's talk just a little bit. Let's just imagine. Let's just go into our world. Imagine what our world would be like as band directors if every band class was absolutely full of students. No recruiting required. We had more students than we could possibly teach. How would it be if every band class had a complete instrumentation? Not only did we have 10,000 flutes and all that kind of stuff, that was reduced down to a certain number, and we actually had a full complement of double reeds. How about 8 people in a horn section? Wouldn't that be just amazing? What a world it would be. How about they come into our band room fully prepared for the experience? What do I mean by that? You know, beginning band starts in 5th or 6th grade, but they've been taking general music for 4, 5, 6 years ahead of that. Suppose there was preparation, and we honored and recognized that preparation. And when they got to us, they could already read. Imagine what our world would be like and what our band instruction would be like. What would it be like if we could provide superior performances in all stylistic and environmental settings? I get a real kick out of, oh, it's just marching band. No, it's just music outdoors, but it's still music. No matter where we're at, we can't be part-time musicians. Imagine if we could do it in all the styles. They could play an orchestral transcription. At the same time, they could play Sousa. At the same time, they could turn around and lay down, you know, a jazz or a blues tune, okay, something in the jazz vein. Imagine if they could play a little hip-hop, and everybody would go nuts. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay, in all stylistic and environmental settings. Imagine what it'd be like with students being able to create their own musical expressions, their own compositions, and actually performing those in public to capacity audiences. Well, this sounds like Nirvana, doesn't it? Okay? Imagine a community and a school system that values music education and the band's very unique role in that education. And there would be 0 funding concerns. Boy, oh boy, okay? What a world it would be. Just imagine. It is a dream. Got it. Recognize that. But we got to remember, every dream is a destination. It's what we want it to be. Every destination requires a journey. And every journey requires a leader that has the vision, motivation, and skills to get us to that point. Sometimes I get really amazed, sometimes in our world, I'm a band director too, okay? In our world, how possibly we get in to drive the bus but not quite sure where we're going. We're just going through the process. It's always a good idea when you put the band on the bus to have an idea of what the destination is. It'll make that journey a whole lot more pleasant and also measurable. Okay? It is a dream, but it's going to require. I want to talk today. This year is really particularly important. Okay? It is the 10th anniversary of a group of dreamers. They were convened through Music Educators National Conference. And in 1999, okay, they put out, there was a meeting that was called the Housewright Symposium. Wiley Housewright, name for him, great music educator. A very dear friend of mine, may she rest in peace. June Hinckley was president of MENC at the time, and she did amazing things and brought some of the greatest minds in music education. And when that was done, they put out a document called the Housewright Declaration. Okay, that was in honor again of Wiley Housewright, but the document is actually titled Vision 2020. Where are we going to be in 20 years in music education? And that document, by the way, is posted on the MENC website. I strongly urge you to take a look at that, because right now, 10 years, we're halfway through their vision. We're halfway through their journey. And I wonder if we're going to make it to a point where we can get in the year 2020 where they thought we would be capable of getting. Many of the authors of that particular declaration are no longer with us. Some of those authors, they were at the very end of their careers. They had a lifetime of experience. And so this is rather wordy. We're gonna come back to that. That's there, okay? But I urge you to take a look at that. I'm going to ask you some questions. You're the leader. What's your vision? What's your vision for your band program? What do you want it to be? What is the purpose? Where, okay, does it fit into your and your students' lives? Now, how does band fit into music education? What's your vision for music education in your school system? What's your vision for music education in your state? What is your vision for music education in the United States? You're here at the ASBDA. You are representing your state. This is a very unique group of individuals. And so it's very, very important, okay, to make sure that we not only recognize what that vision is, but also articulate and share that in multiple forms of communication. I got to tell you, I feel so honored to be here because one of the most influential documents I ever read in my life when I was a young teacher was, and I started working, by the way, my publishing career for Bellwin. Okay, I was with Bellwin, the ASBDA curriculum guide. We published that. I have multiple copies of that. There were a group of leaders, visionaries who put that document together that influenced a generation of teachers that included me. I find it really ironic that, now after I got into that, then I became one of those that worked in the publishing company that put that book out. Amazing. And so I feel so honored to be talking to you because your role as ASBDA has got to continue. This organization has got to get bigger and stronger and continue the leadership that has been shown over the decades. Okay? Definition. This is building bands beyond borders. Okay? I'm going to be David Letterman for a second. All right? What is a border? The number 3 definition, when you go to the dictionary, the line that officially separates two countries or regions, or the land on either side of it. I guess if you kind of think about it, that's kind of like choral room and band room or something. I'm not quite sure. Okay? All right? Number 2, to form the frontier with another country or the boundary between two regions. That would be performing arts to the rest of the school, possibly. Okay? And then, no, I did not make this up. The number 1 definition of border is a band that runs along the edge of something. They obviously saw the marching band. Okay? They obviously saw it, but that's the true definition. A border. Okay? Borders are really, really important because as we do it, there are different types of borders that we deal with in our band rooms. There are physical borders. What is our band room? What's the size of our concert stage? How big is our practice field for the marching band? Football field, stadium, other physical boundaries. Okay, ensemble classrooms, buildings, zones, communities. We have all these borders. So incredibly important. Unfortunately, though, it's my observation that when we have a border, we look at that as the end of the earth. We're back in the days of pre-Columbus. You know, where they thought you can go around the world is flat. Here's our border, don't go past that. A border is merely a marker. And you've got to, it's either there to keep people in or keep people out. Or actually to provide clarity to the organization of our world. I believe borders, their primary function is to provide clarity to the organization of our world. What is our challenge with physical borders? To build sequential instruction that bridges the physical limitations of our facilities. My daughter, I have 2 daughters. One just finished 9th grade, one just finished 7th grade. Okay, if they were here, they'd say, Dad, we're in 8th and 10th grade now. Okay, all right. And I told them when they start that in the fall, then I'll call them 8th and 10th graders. All right. There, the oldest plays oboe. The youngest plays clarinet. They both play piano. They both sing. The youngest is an all-state vocalist as well. She's really big into musical theater. All right? Shouldn't it be important for them to be able to go from the band classroom to the choral classroom and be reading on approximately the same level? Wouldn't that make sense? Should a child that lives in California be able to move to Florida in the 4th grade and pick up about where they left off? Yes, I believe that they should. They're not going to pick up to the day, they're not going to pick up to the week, they're not going to pick up to the lesson, but they still should be at about the same area. In other words, we have to be thinking about a K through 12 sequential journey, a K through 12 sequential curriculum. And we've got to find sequential instruction that bridges all these physical borders, other borders, operational borders. Right now, the big buzzword, of course, are going to be our budgets. Okay, our budgets. What are our budgetary concerns? We only have X amount of teachers. Many of us felt like we lost teaching positions. In my home state of Florida, people are actually getting teaching positions back, okay, which is good. They let a bunch of people go, and now they've hired them back. I don't know what's happening in your state. I'm sure it's been a topic of discussion this entire week. But here we go. We've got budgetary borders. This is how many teachers we have. This is how much equipment we have. This is the amount of money we can spend on travel. There's a budgetary operational border. You know, we could discuss them, but our challenge as great band directors is to be an advocate for all types of educational funding. We have to be an advocate. We have to get in there. We've got to fight. But I learned a long time ago, we've got to teach with what we have and not use the other as an excuse. Bottom line, a great teacher and a great student can make music even with nothing. They can make music. I came in to hear a concert bass drum clinic, and I was listening to great vocals coming out, stylistically delivered. Didn't need, we're playing on music stands. We can teach bass drum with music stands, can't we? We can't use the operational borders as an excuse. What other type of borders do we have to deal with every single day? Philosophical borders. All right? I kind of tease my general music colleagues, okay? Oh, I'm Orff. Oh, I'm Kadai. Oh, I'm Dalcroze. Okay? I'm Laban. I'm Gordon. I'm Suzuki. Okay? And boy, we put these big borders there. Oh, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. We do it in secondary as well. Concert band versus marching band. All right? Concert band versus wind ensemble. Boy, there's a border wars. Okay? All right? That's interesting. Concert band versus the jazz ensemble. How about individual versus ensemble instruction? All these philosophical borders. Bottom line, what is our challenge? It's my opinion we have to develop a best practices approach. Everybody is right. Everybody. There's great things about every philosophical system. All we've got to do is pull the best from each of those systems, put them together in our teaching, and gather it the way we, as an individual teacher, deem the most appropriate for our students. So we need a best practices approach that bridges all of those philosophical differences. Okay? Pedagogical borders. We have all types of pedagogical borders. Oh, if I'm in band, I can't be in choir. If I'm in band or choir, I can't be in the orchestra. That's impossible. We have pedagogical borders because of things like scheduling. My daughters play instruments and they sing. And they sing. And you know what? They also play piano. Well, we don't teach piano in this school unless it's class piano. Boy, we've got all kinds of very strange borders, these self-imposed simply because we've only looked within. All right? So we have all these different pedagogical borders. We have programming borders as under the word pedagogy. Okay, compositions, various musical styles. Oh yeah, I asked somebody a little earlier today. You know, we're talking about, I heard a great jazz ensemble this morning. Really incredible jazz ensemble, doing a great job. Here, kids up there improvising. I still go back to the time I'm over in Australia. I'm doing a series of concerts, that kind of thing. They took me, because I'm an educator, to a school, showed me a really wonderful school system, teaching music. I walked into a chamber music class. It was everything you expect. There was a woodwind choir, there was quartets, quintets doing their thing. But I look over, there were two rhythm sections playing. One's doing a little jazz thing, the other one's doing rock. I went, wow, that's great. You can imagine the discussion. Time is short, so I won't get into all that. But then they scratched their head and said, you mean in America, Mr. Smith, you don't teach your own music? Our music is jazz. And from jazz comes all forms of popular music. We're sitting right now in one of the popular music capitals of the United States, one of three. We're sitting here, yet we don't teach it in our schools. Isn't that amazing? Go to Ireland, you can get 2 musical degrees. You get one in a Western European tradition, but you have another one in Irish music. We don't do that here. Kind of makes you go, Isn't that amazing?